Greetings, nerdlings, and welcome to AmalgamNation presents World of Lorecraft, Elfcraft, Naga Edition. The Naga are former highborn night elves who mutated into vengeful humanoid sea serpents. While many remain on Azeroth to attempt to reclaim the surface world, a large group followed the power-mad betrayer Illidan Stormrage into Outland and proceeded to claim the watery areas of the Shattered Land. In addition to their natural longevity, a number of Naga developed mutations that increase their lifespans even further. Some are immortal. History of the Naga. Naga are sinister, Ophidian humanoids that dwell beneath the ocean. Their culture is ancient and mythical. For 10,000 years ago they were Kaldorei. 10,000 years ago, during the reign of Queen Azshara, there was an elite magic-using sect known as the Highborn, who dabbled in magics that many other elves considered reckless and irresponsible by drawing upon the power of the Well of Eternity. The Highborn elves enjoyed great power and comfort before the War of the Ancients. During that conflict, the Highborn sought to abuse arcane magic to bring demons to the world. This action led to the war itself, in which the Night Elves, at great cost, defeated the Burning Legion. The magical backlash shattered the world, imploded the Well of Eternity, and blasted the Highborn's capital city to the bottom of the ocean. Many were cast far into the flooding depths of the great cataclysm that sundered the land and destroyed the Well of Eternity. It was Queen Azshara's quick thinking that saved them. She is thought to have managed to make a pact with the old gods on behalf of her people, though the exact beings that transformed them are unknown. It is also possible its cursor was Neptulon, the Tide Hunter, the Water Elemental Lord. With the old gods' curse, they started to change. Since then, they have further been twisted by the residual cascading energies of the Well of Eternity. They took on new shapes, new powers, and became the hateful serpentine Naga. When the Naga awakened, they set about building a new life for themselves in the ocean depths. Within the abyssal sea trench beneath the swirling waters of the Maelstrom, they built their new city, Nazjatar. Azshara herself expanded with hate and rage, becoming a massive monstrosity, reflecting the wickedness and malice that had always hidden within her core. For 10,000 years, these elves of the abyss dwelt in a dark and powerful empire. Pagodas and balconies lined the deep trenches, glimmering lights picking out shapes of cities in the cold black. Sinuous figures drift and twist along the passageways, their elven origins difficult to discern. There in the depths of the ocean, for 10,000 years, the Naga plotted their revenge against the Night Elves. Most Naga are still content to wait. However, a small group led by the Naga sea witch Lady Vash answered a summons from Illidan Stormrage to aid him in his quest to destroy the Frozen Throne. Lady Vash joined forces with Illidan and his forces in order to serve her own ends. They made new allies in the form of their highborn kin, the Blood Elves, as well as enemies of the Night Elves and the Alliance. They aided Illidan in the recovery of the Eye of Sargeras and fought alongside the Blood Elves to take Outland, as well as at the Icecrown Glacier against the Scourge. After suffering defeat at the hands of Arthas, this group retreated back to Outland with Illidan. The exact ends for Vash's alliance with Illidan remain unknown. More recently, Naga have begun to reappear around the coasts of the world, creating settlements on land, most noticeably in the ruins of their old cities in Azshara. It seems as though they are now followers of the old gods, as they have made alliances with the Twilight's Hammer cult and the corrupt Satyr. They have laid claim to several stretches of coast on both continents, including in Darkshore, Ashenvale, Desolace, Feralis, Dustswallow Marsh, Azshara, Hillspread Foothills, Arati Highlands, and Stranglethorn Vale. They have significant numbers and pose a serious threat to anyone standing in their way. The outland tribes of Naga have begun draining the water of the Zangarmarsh lakes and marshes with steam pumps. The pumps are all connected through underground drains to Coilfang Reservoir, where Vash and her underlings reside, turning Serpent Lake into a giant water sink for the rest of Zangarmarsh. Due to the Cenarian's expedition's meddling, the Naga operating the steam vaults end up at war with the Druids, at the orders of Lady Vash. In the Borean tundra, tribes of Naga have made a fort in Northrend, in Riplash Ruins. From here the Naga are making ominous attempts at melting the polar ice caps in order to flood the world and create an entirely underwater empire for their revered Empress Queen Azshara. Apparently the Naga's plans in Northrend will not come to fruition, as the sea Virkul have slaughtered most of them, feeding them to a mighty sea creature. Naga appearance. Naga only marginally resemble the noble race they once were. Their proud Kaldorei visages are warped and twisted. The Naga are part night elf, part serpent, and some have evolved bizarre oceanic mutations. The Well of Eternity's residual energies are unpredictable, and their mutative power manifests in different ways. In all Naga, many of these mutations are simply cosmetic, soft spines running down their backs, or extra fins adorning their arms, for instance. Some Naga, though, also possess mutations that have a more substantial effect. In this way, the race has developed an array of genetic variations and defenses, such as ink jets, tentacles, razor fins, venomous fangs, hardened barnacle carapaces, and spined fists. Naga men are bestial, remarkably strong and tough, able to withstand a great deal of bodily injury. Naga women more resembled Kaldorei from whom they came, their faces fair, even beautiful. This unearthly splendour is ruined by their monstrous deformities. They often have multiple limbs, 4 to 6 arms. Naga average around 6.5 feet tall, and Naga men are much bulkier than women. Naga are now serpent-like humanoids. The men are thickly built with humanoid torsos merging into a serpent hind section. Their scales are large and thick, and their heads are reminiscent of dragons, showing little sign of their elven ancestry. The women are tall and slender with fine scales covering their angular features. Naga society. Naga society is female dominated. They are considered the intellectual superiors and possess the greater magical power. While females are greatly outnumbered by males, females are found more often in positions of authority. Usually females are more proficient in the ways of magic, while the males are warriors, but there are a few males that are deadly in both close combat and spellcasting. The civilization of the Naga has extensive codes, laws, and ceremonies. Factions, some millennia old, work continuously in bids for power. Males can rise to prominence and even lead communities, but there is a limit to what they can achieve. In terms of class, this makes them the opposite of the Night Elves from whom they evolved, where males typically work magic and females fight, though the Kaldorei or Night Elves lack intellect-based prejudice. They seek the blessings of their queen, one familiar to history. Queen Ashara lives still in the vast city of Nazjatar at the bottom of a deep ocean trench. She has embraced the power of the Naga, grown in size, and possesses many tentacles bedecked in jewels and items of power. She plots her revenge on the Night Elves, biding her time until the growing might of the Naga can be brought to bear. Naga have finely worked robes that function as leather armour. They hunt large prey with tridents and scimitars. They are experienced in formation fighting, particularly in dealings with Murlocs and Morgul. A warband will deploy male infantry to engage at moderate range with tridents, while the females cast spells. The men are willing to sacrifice themselves if ordered. Leaders will avoid heavy losses, but are otherwise open to small risks. Naga languages. Naga typically speak their own language, Nazja, and most know Common. For various reasons, individual Naga learn to speak with the creatures with which they interact. Some also learn the language of their heritage, Darnassian. Naga relations. Naga are avaricious, dangerous, and sadistic. Their millennia of aquatic banishment has only intensified their evil, power-hungry nature and made it so most races are unaware of their existence. Naga play well with blood elves, trolls, and other dark independent powers, but only the rarest Naga joins the alliance or horde. The Naga travelling with Illidan have a more educated view of Kalimdor's races than the Naga who remain at the bottom of the sea or in one of the eastern outposts. These travellers hold the Blood Elves in high regard, as they are also evolved children of the Highborn, and they too fought with Illidan. The time spent together in battle made the two races respect and admire each other's skills. They are united against all others, as they are currently the two most unpopular races on the continent. The Naga can either take or leave the goblins and trolls, creatures who care nothing for their own pasts. The half-orcs, furbolgs, and Pandaren do not trust the Naga, and the Naga feel the same way in return. They feel that divine magic practitioners are weak and without ambition. The Naga are a neutral race for a very good reason. Neither the Alliance nor the Horde will welcome them. The Alliance elicits nothing but rage in the minds of the Naga. Their former brethren, the Night Elves, still thrive on the continent and have not forgotten their grudges with the Naga. Their blatant hatred of the Night Elves is only rivaled by the Night Elves' feelings for them. As Night Elf leaders Tyrande Whisperwind and Malfurion Stormrage are highly respected within the Alliance, their hatred and distrust of the Naga has spread to the other races. The races of the Horde are met with derisiveness from the Naga. They would have no part of the Horde even if invited to join. The spiritual natures of these races are similar to the Pandaren and Furbolgs, and therefore worthy of similar disrespect. The Naga consider the Horde to be nothing more than barbaric, weak-minded fools. They would sooner accept the Night Elves as masters than join the Horde. Naga are dark, cunning and evil creatures. A Naga might join forces with a being of another race in order to serve her own ends, however, much as Lady Vash did with Illidan and his forces. Naga are selfish creatures, though, and think only of their own dominance. Their minds have little room for charity or kindness. A Naga that renounced her evil ways would be a unique individual indeed. Some Naga may be sent to the land on a mission, or they may be exiled to defy the Naga Queen. Few among the humanoid races are aware of the Naga's history, so most encounters deal primarily with their strange countenance. Naga characters can use disguise or magic to avoid notice. Naga heroes are usually limited to a few mutations. Far from the power of Nazjatar, the powers of the flesh are less likely to be awakened in this way. Even though the Blood Elves of Quel'Thalas are members of the Horde, there is no sign of diplomacy between the two powers. In addition to Naga opinions, the Azerothian Blood Elves do not unilaterally accept the philosophy that Kael has adopted and likely wish to avoid association with the Naga. The Naga seem to be hated by the Horde as they've assaulted their newfound friends, the Tuskar. Naga have managed to enslave large numbers of Murghul. This aquatic race fears the Naga's magical abilities. The Naga's main rival for dominance of the ocean are sea giants. These creatures hate Naga and slay them on sight. Trivia about Naga. Naga is the name of 2 cities in the Philippines. Naga were first mentioned in Day of the Dragon. Crassus found one frozen in Malgos' sanctum in Northrend. He was only able to utter Na before he was cut off. Nag is the Hindi word for cobra. Naga is the Somali word for women. Naga is the Malay and Indonesian word for dragons. The Naga come from Hindu and Southeast Asian mythology. There they are beings of great power and magic. The myths reference Naga living high atop mountains and deep in caverns, but the majority of them live in underwater cities, where races of enslaved fish people serve the Naga, whose prowess in sorcery is surpassed only by the gods themselves. The Naga and their females, the Nagini, took many forms. Human-headed serpents, multi-headed serpents, humans with the heads of serpents, and of course a serpent with the head and torso of a human. In terms of attitude and temperament, the Naga are neither good nor evil. Their motivations change from myth to myth, depending on the message. Naga can often be cast in the classic role of evil monsters, and many serve as the antagonists of the Devas. Alternatively, Naga are also extremely wise and have aided many a legendary adventurer. A king of the Naga is recorded as using his 7 heads as an umbrella to keep Gautama, Siddhartha, later the Sakya Muni Buddha, dry as he meditated. Metzen has stated as far back as the Burning Crusade expansion that he would like Naga to be playable one day along with ogres and goblins, the latter of which have become playable in Cataclysm after the interview took place. Due to their general role as villains, it is likely the playable Naga would be like the Draenei are to the demonic Eredar. Naga are perhaps the first World of Warcraft creatures to make an appearance in a major motion picture. One of the main characters in the 2008 remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still is seen playing WoW on his laptop. At the time he is shown fighting several male Naga. I hope you've enjoyed. I've made some changes to the way this vid is made. There have been images playing, well, not playing, there have been images up on the screen every so often to depict what different Naga look like, such as Lady Vash and of course Queen Azshara. So once again, thank you for listening and watching, and as always, remember, play to game and game to play.